staying over there at Stone Point, out on the marshes. Bit of a walk to go, but it's not too bad. It looks like a very, very nice day for it. Hi guys, it's Liam here. Today it's a very sunny evening out at Walton-on-the-Naze. And I've got my mates Oliver and Greg here. It's one of the hottest days of the year today and tomorrow, so we've picked the right timing. It's actually a bit cooler now. It's a really sunny evening still, as you can probably tell by my squinting. But we've walked a little bit of a way out onto the beach. We were going to go to Stone Point, although it's quite a long way out and we've got quite a lot of gear to take, so we might not go all the way. But it's a really nice, picturesque spot actually, this. Nice and relaxing. Hopefully we don't get caught. We did have some guy saying, oh, you can't come in a nature reserve, it's strictly forbidden and all that. Which, yeah, it's fair enough. But maybe he didn't expect the young lads like us to actually have the guts to walk all the way out onto the beach. So, you know, nothing is going to get in the way of us tonight. We're going to have a good one. We're going to set up our tent and we're going to make it. But I haven't done a wild camp in quite a while now. It's been at least a year. So hopefully it all goes to plan. Just want to say a big thanks to Exploring with Em and Stu, and also Tom Outdoors, who have sort of recommended this spot and also given us a few tips about where the best place is. I'm not sure how far out we're going to make it, but the beach is really nice. It should be fun. We've got a long walk. Well, we've had a long walk, carrying a lot of stuff. But yeah, looking forward to this. So we're here now on the beach. We haven't gone quite all the way out to Stone Point, which is down that way, because it was a long old way out, and we thought that hopefully the tide is sort of like, this is the highest point of the land around here anyway. We could be wrong, but we're hoping that this section of beach doesn't get covered by tide. When we were up in the Naze Tower over in the distance there, we actually looked down on the area at high tide, and the beach seemed to stay nice and dry. So hopefully where we've pitched is a perfect spot. We've got our tent set up on the grass there, give us a little bit of extra padding hopefully. We've got the chairs all set up for the three of us. Let's go and have a look inside. Got a lovely view. We've got the porch all set up. This is the High Gear Nucleus 3 tent. It's a 3-man tent and it's called the High Gear Nucleus 3. Oliver's having a little rest up in there, but we've got our tent all kitted out now. Looks pretty sick to me. We've got a porch for all our stuff and all our shoes, so we don't get the sand in there, although I accidentally made a mistake of going in there with my shoes on already. But apart from that, it's all going quite well. We're now going to get some cooking going, have a few beers out on the beach and enjoy the sunset. Right, so we're going to cook up our food. We've got the little Vango tiny little gas cooker here, really neat and nifty. And we've got these Coleman gas tins. Greg's having his big soup. And me and Oliver are going to have this dodgy looking stewed steak with some instant mash. Connoisseur eating, obviously. Yeah, so we're going to light this fire up and hopefully we actually have a nice hot meal.
You're going to blow us up.
Told you it goes like good, didn't it? So we've got the soup going. Here's the Motorhead Pale Ale. That's the one I'm trying today. My friend Tom Outdoors, he likes to try a cider out on his wild camps. I'm not a massive cider fan, apart from the fruit ones in the summer. So I've decided to try out an ale instead. I thought I'd go for Motorhead because big fan of the band, although quite honestly I'm pretty sure Lemmy had absolutely nothing to do with this beer. He would have probably gone for straight JD instead. But I'm going to give it a taste. It's actually quite a nice inoffensive pale ale, really. Pretty generic. Tastes good, and it's got a cool label. I've fully fallen for the marketing scheme there, but you know, it looks good, it tastes good, can't go wrong.
I think we were like too preemptive with this one, isn't it?
Gonna try a bit of Greg's Big Soup.
Hey, give me some of that.
It's actually warmed up quite nice. That's actually, I mean, that's the thing, when you're out here in the marshes, yeah, out on the marshes with, you know, no creature comforts of modern living.
That's right.
Hot meal, hot drinks, hot food. It is really the best bit, and beer obviously, you know, which is, I suppose that's the same case in much of life, but you know, beer, food and drinks
Absolutely.
keep the spirits high, and good company as well, of course. Yeah, yeah, like the sun's starting to set quite a bit now, it's getting a bit dark. Hopefully we're not going to have to cook the rest of the meal in the dark, but it's really nice. We've got a nice view out to Harwich, I believe that is, over in the distance.
That's France.
If you can see it. We've got the cranes and stuff out there, which actually looks very reminiscent of Shell Haven back home in Essex, as Oliver pointed out. Right, we've got our Idaho mash going at the moment. Never heard of them, but we've put all the mash in and the water, and well, needless to say, it's swelling up quite a bit. It's getting way too big for the bowl at the moment. Oh no. How did that taste?
Not good. Like foam.
It looks like foam, to be honest.
Very cold as well.
Is it? I've put way too much in there, haven't I? We should have boiled the water up first. Right, we'll sort this out and then we'll film once we've actually got a good meal together. Right, we've got here the Idaho mash and the Prince's steak in gravy. And I'll tell you what, they didn't look great, but it tastes really good. That mash, actually, at first it tasted like foam when it was cold. Now I've cooked it for a bit, it's nice and hot. It tastes like buttery potato mash. I'm actually quite impressed for instant mash. And the steak, it's nice and hot. I love a sort of pie mash, steak and mash, you know, whatever it is, sausage and mash. I love that kind of food. And that is perfect when you're out in the middle of nowhere, to be honest. Now, to top that off, I've got some British operational ration cheddar cheese flavoured spread and Garibaldi biscuit, which I've squeezed the spread onto. I've not tried the spread before, if I'm quite honest. I've been putting off having it. Doesn't look quite as palatable as the peanut butter that some of the packs come with, but we're going to give it a go. So, bon appetit. It's coming to the end of the night now. We've had our food, we're quite well fed. We've had a couple of beers. We have made a little campfire, which, you know, we managed to get some fire going, but we couldn't really sustain it for very long. But you know, it's worth doing it anyway, just for the fun of it. We've got a nice view of Harwich in the background, of the docks and stuff, reflecting in the water. So we're going to go to bed now or in a minute. The only thing is I'm probably going to come up in the middle of the night just before it gets to high tide, just so I can check that basically, you know, we've not ended up going too low down and that the water's not actually going to come up to our tent line. But I think we should be fine. We're in a good spot there, it's nice and high. So yeah, hopefully it's a good sleep. We'll see you guys in the morning. Right, so we've just built a little fire outside our tent. We've managed to find some sort of dead dry wood and sticks on the beach, and we've made a little rock ring, made a little pit with the sand. So we're gonna set it on fire and hopefully it will last us a bit of the evening. Let's wait for the flame to pick up, but it's caught quite well. We've got some sort of kindling made out of old bits of dead, dried up like seaweed and twigs and things. The only problem with the torchlight is that all the insects have come out of the sand flies and bits, and we've also got a lot of moths, and they're all very much attracted to the torch. Hopefully they're not going to be attracted to the fire. There we go. Really like my fire. That's how it's done. Well, We're having trouble keeping the fire alive, in all honesty. We've got quite a big one going, but it's very difficult to actually sustain it for long. And then all the moths start coming over, and we actually sadly saw a few moths fly into it. Right guys, about 5:45 in the morning. We've been up for about an hour just trying to work out what the tide's doing. I think it's actually stopped really coming in much more. I think this is sort of the highest it's going to get today, but we were looking at that tent sort of slightly on edge, that as soon as it comes up over this beach it's just going to cover it, but I think we're actually fine. The beach is still quite high up. I've placed a couple of rocks down here to try and tell where the tide's coming in, if it's coming in anymore, and if it's actually going to go out and when it starts going out. So I'm not sure if we're going to try and have a little bit more of a rest, might have a bit of a breakfast, or we're just going to head straight off. We're just going to go with the flow, but it's been a really nice little spot. Watched the sun come up, which has been nice. Really nice like wildlife out here, a lot of birds and things all flying by. It's a really great place out here. Lovely little beach, hidden gem. Yeah, I mean, gonna go with the flow really, literally go with the flow, and see what we end up doing. Here's the morning coffee, just what we need, I think. Lovely stuff, complete with the creamer, which always makes it taste vaguely creamier than water but less creamy than milk. That's the best way of describing it. There's a breakfast, Heinz ravioli. What we've been doing is we've been putting the cans in the boiling water to heat it up. Alternatively, we could just pull a can out into the mess tin and heat it up that way, but obviously it means that, you know, you're going to have to wash the tin. So if we just use the water, we can keep reusing that tin and the water to boil several cans. We're approaching Stone Point now, the very point. We've got some of the concrete barges over there to the right, being used as a flood break or tidal barrier, should I say. We've also got a big old boat over there. Not sure if that's what they call a dragon boat, but it's one of those big old style ones that you see out in the Thames and things. I know those sort of boats, you see them sailing around a lot. So we're walking down the channel that gets cut off at high tide, which cuts Stone Point off, which is where we originally planned to camp, and we didn't make it as far, but we've come back this morning and we're walking all the way to the very end because, you know, being completionists, we've got to finish the mission. But obviously you can see, if you were to camp out here anywhere further than this, these channels would fill up and you wouldn't be able to obviously get back to the mainland. So you could camp out here if you wanted. Obviously you'd have to bear in mind that that will fill up, but it's nice to know that the beach itself remains high and dry even when the tide comes in. I think I might wrap up the video there, but it's actually been a really nice trip. We've just had a really nice relaxing breakfast out on the beach without the threat of the tide. We can see right the way over to Harwich now, and also to the other side of the river. You can see over to Horsey Island, I think it is called, in the distance there. and it's just a really nice view. It's a nice tranquil coastal location. Definitely recommend this for wild camping. It's very isolated, there's no one around. I probably have only had about 3-4 hours sleep because I was getting up every hour to check the tide. Someone had to do it, but now we know for future purposes that it's all perfectly safe. Check out Beyond the Point, my main channel with my friend Joe, where we go exploring heritage and history in and around the area. I quite enjoy the vlogging lately. It's nice to improve the editing skills and the filming skills somewhere, so that's why I've been doing a few more videos for my own channel lately. But please do go and check out Beyond the Point. Yeah, that's going to be all, I think. So thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, I'll see you whenever the next adventure takes us. See you later.